Okay, so then you met Toots. You're in his band now. Okay, so you're doing background vocals live for him.
Yes.
Okay. Was he the first person you actually traveled with?
Yes.
Okay.
He was the first person that took me on tour.
Where did you go? Where was the first place you went when you left Jamaica?
The first place I landed was in Manhattan, New York. And I felt like I was in heaven or somewhere, pure bright lights. And that was my first time in America, you know. So it was like big things for me. Winter coat and them something there, you know, like Oliver.
Yeah.
Probably before we even leave Jamaica, we had a winter coat. Yeah, but Manhattan was the first place I landed. That, and because of that, I have this special love for Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because that's your first. You always remember that part there in particular.
Yes, and I think it's such a lovely place, you know, to go to anyway.
Mm-hmm. Very stimulating because there's always something to do, always something to see.
Yeah, and they never sleep.
Never. All right, so you're now on the road with Toots. What was your first tour like with Toots? Because remember, you said you're shy, you don't really like all. How did you handle being on the stage, especially with such a star like Toots?
Well, you know, the good thing about it, you know, I was young and I was shy, but Toots, he took me like another father figure, you know, apart from my father. He was like another father to me. So, I mean, he actually introduced us because it was myself and his two other daughters, you know. Mm-hmm. So we were considered like a family. So he introduced me like his youngest daughter. Mm-hmm. So, you know, he kind of pet and powder me while I was out there and whatever. And I realized then that I had an innate ability to perform. Mm-hmm. And that I was very quick at what, you know, with the whole music thing and the whole harmony thing, because to work with Toots is not a simple thing. Toots is a very complicated individual when it comes on to music. And if you are not good at what you do, you cannot stand up to it. You will feel as you're going. So that's when I realized that, hey, I'm good at this, you know, I'm really cool. So yeah, it was basically smooth flowing.
Do you remember one show in particular you did on that tour that always sticks out in your mind?
You mean in the early stages?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I wouldn't say one show. I think all the shows stuck out in my mind because he never did any one show the same way, any show the same way. He always did a different show every night. Mm-hmm. And the audiences were so involved, and you know, his audience were not Jamaicans, you know, they were more foreigners, you know. So for me, that was, you know, the first time being around so many, what would I say now, you know, Caucasians and stuff like that. So I guess just that whole tour and, you know, just going to different venues and stuff, and the work, I think everything just stayed in my mind up to this day.
Got you. You did that first tour there. Everything is good. So then now, when you got back to Jamaica, what happened next from there?
Oh my goodness. I'm getting old, you know. You think I can't remember all of that? What happened next? Yeah, I got back into my thing, you know, doing my stuff with Boris Gardner and all of them and stuff like that. And I just kept on moving. And then at the same time, while we were touring with Toots, I was actually touring with his daughters at 5446 mm-hmm. also. And they had a #1 song on this chart called Top of the Pops chart in London. Mm-hmm. So we had to be traveling to London to do Top of the Pops and stuff like that, and the whole works. And then when we came back, we were traveling the islands, doing our own tour, and it was just all over the place. And then after that, you know, we started doing, his daughters, we started doing a few stints on the North Coast in Jamaica, mm-hmm. you know, for certain hotels and stuff and whatever. We didn't continue on that path for very long. After a while, that kind of died down. But that was basically it.
Okay, so then now you're doing all this work with groups and everybody else. When did you start to actually get into a studio to start recording for yourself?
While I was with Boris Gardner, Boris recorded quite a few singles with myself. Mm-hmm. I did a single with Derek Harriott, alongside a collab with Derek Harriott. And I did, who else did I record for? Yeah, that was basically it. But during that whole whirlwind of a life and the music and stuff, the Japanese came to Jamaica. And they recruited me as one of the vocalists that they want to work with. So then again, I ended up at Penthouse again, because that was where the Japanese always work, Penthouse and Mixing Lab. I don't know if you're familiar with those studios.
For sure, 100%.
Yeah. And so I was back and forth, I stood with them, and they started recording me as an artist also. Apart from me doing background vocal work for them, sometimes they recorded me as an artist, and they became so interested in me. It was a company called Takian Records. They were the ones that used to do the big festival called Japan Splash in Japan for many years. Their interest in me grew so much that they like merged. They became like a sub-label under Sony Japan. Okay. And Sony Japan started working with me also.
This podcast is brought to you by www.twolinedmusica.com.